This is the Outlet Forum with my esteemed co-host, Chris Camello. What up, Chris?
Oh my gosh, LeBron watch. What is it, day 43 already? Pick a
Oh
team
my
already. I
goodness.
gotta say it like Mad Dog Russo.
Oh my goodness, Chris. Look, man, while everybody's bitching about how long LeBron has taken for this decision and where he's going to go and how he's going to land and which way he's going to make in this announcement, I actually have some different thoughts about it. So we'll get into all that, Chris. We'll get into the Miami Heat giving us a little bit of a bone by did they leak something on the YouTube? We'll talk about that. The Lakers, are they still on Kuminga watch? I don't know. They're still making moves. I think they're done if you're signing two-way guys at the end of free agency like Kaluma, shouts out to him for balling in the summer league. Then looks like you're probably done filling out your roster. And the commissioner has spoken on the Kawhi investigation. He preaches patience, but somehow is asking LeBron to hurry up and make his decision. Make it make sense, Chris. We'll get into all of that in this edition of the Outlet Forum. But Chris, I got to start off first. We obviously are on LeBron watch. I don't even really want to call it LeBron watch in 2018. It was a foregone conclusion on where he was going, which is why he announced on the first day.
Yeah, what was that? July something. July 1st. Yeah.
First. It was on the first, like before noon or at noon. It was before 5 p.m. It was like the middle of the day.
Yeah, on a Sunday.
Was it a Sunday?
Yep, I remember. It was a Sunday.
Not sure exactly. But either way, Chris, it was a great day. It was a Sunday. It was a great day. But this time, LeBron is dragging this thing out. And everybody has a reason as to why they think he's doing it. And I just gotta ask you first, man. Why do you think he's taking this long? It really has only been about 4 to 6 weeks that he's had, maybe even longer, but because Rich Paul said on the Game Over podcast with Max Kellerman that LeBron had said 2 weeks before the Lakers even could talk to him that he had made up his mind that that's not where he wanted to go. So is it the Heat? Is it the Cavs? Is it the Warriors?
Yeah.
I don't think it's Philly or Minnesota just because of the cold. But what do you think, Chris? Is he going to the Heat or what?
I think first of all, you asked me a question, why it's taken this long. I honestly think he was trying to figure that out himself, what he actually wanted. I want to be happy. What the hell does that mean? Does that mean money? Does that mean geography? Does that mean playing with a certain, certain star player for a certain coach in a certain system? What does it mean? That was the thing. We never really got clarity on what he was looking for, right? We thought when he moved on from Cleveland to Miami in 2010, I believe, right? It was the summer of 10, taking his talents down to South Beach. That was to build a winning culture, right? And win a championship. 2014, went back to Cleveland. We knew that. Why? Because he had unfinished business. Bring a championship back to his hometown team. Mission accomplished, 4 straight finals and a championship in 2016. Moves off of there, goes to LA. Why? Build up his Hollywood career. He had his media business. Where else would you want to build up a media business than being in Hollywood? And of course, being the star player of a struggling yet still premier brand in the LA Lakers. Made sense. This time around, 41 years old, still playing at a high level, but let's be honest, best days are obviously behind him, which is understandable at 41 and 23 years in. We don't know what he's trying to do. This was the one time where it's like, is it Cleveland? Maybe. Could it be Miami? Maybe. Could it be Golden State and teaming up with Steph? Maybe. Nothing was ever really clear because there was no real slam dunk option, right? All of those options have their own flaws in it, Chaz. So now you look at the Miami Heat and you say to yourself, let's say this thing leaked and let's say Miami feels like they got a deal done. You join up with Giannis. You join up with Bam. You come full circle with Eric Spoelstra. You bury the hatchet with Pat Riley, right? And you're in the Eastern Conference. The question then becomes, is this team better structured for you to slide in, make it an immediate impact, and put Miami on the fast track of coming out of the Eastern Conference, challenging the Knicks, the Sixers? I don't think Boston's going to take a huge step back. They'll take a step back, but not a huge step back. They'll be in the mix. Indiana,
I think they're gonna
Toronto,
be right there.
and so forth. You know what I mean? Yeah, Orlando, Detroit, can't forget about them either. So I really don't know how this is all going to work out. But I will say this, though, about Miami. Chaz, that's a big team. You got Bam, Giannis, Wiggins, LeBron, Davion Mitchell. You would have to add a couple of shooters. Bobby Portis off the bench. They signed Tim Hardaway Jr., which is a shooter. But they would need a little bit more in the guard play. Doesn't seem like a bad option. Not to mention, he probably still has a house in Miami. You know how the Heat organization is run. You know Spo. I think the system would be, I don't want to say it would be a quick transition because you have Giannis there, but I don't think it would be as difficult to assimilate to than going to Golden State and or back to Cleveland with that group that they have situated there. So I honestly, I don't know, man. I really don't. It's fun to talk about, but maybe you can give more insight than me.
All right, so here's the thing, man. Let me get right into it. So I'm just so glad, first of all, as a Laker fan, that we don't have to give a shit about where LeBron James goes. Just to be honest with you, like
Paco thinks he's gonna come back.
I don't know why people are thinking that. That is the worst kept secret that is possible out there. The Lakers are not taking LeBron James back. Even if he's called and said, hey, I'll come back for the minimum, I don't think they would do it, Chris. I don't think they would. Once they broke up with him and he said, I'm out of here, and then they exchanged, I miss you too, or what was it? I thank you too. No, thank you. Like once all that went on between Jeannie and LeBron on social media, I think the first day of free agency, or or June 30th, whatever day it was, that was it. There's no coming back from that unless he plays somewhere and then comes back next season to retire, like something like that. But I don't even think the Lakers would want him back, even if he called him up and said, you know what, fuck it, I'll play for the minimum, guys, let's run it back. I think the Lakers want to completely move into the Luka Doncic era,
as they should.
And the moves that they have made and the way that they've operated, even going back to last year, when this was a story last year, when Rich Paul had to put out a statement when LeBron opted in, like he had to do for the first time ever, because he didn't have another year left on the contract, because he always has an option. Or, I think he's always had an option with, like, every single time that he's left somewhere, he just declined his option, became a free agent, and signed somewhere.
Yeah, and get another 1+1 or 2+1 or something. Yeah.
Right. But this last time, he didn't have an option to turn down. He actually had to opt into it to get his money. So that's why it was such a big story last year. And, it's LeBron James. When you're one of the greatest players to ever lace them up in the sport, the history of the sport, regardless of what you do, even where your son plays, the fact that your son is in the NBA, that is a story, because trying to, see if they're going to play together, will the Lakers be willing to trade him? I think Bronny should want nothing to do with what his dad does over the course of the next however many years. He can't play for more than realistically 3 or 4 more years.
No,
I don't see him playing until
I would say
45, 46.
I would say 2 years. Sounds about right.
2 years, yes. But other than that, I don't really think it's going to be too much more than that. I fully expect like a 2-year, $30 million deal if he goes to Golden State. Maybe like a 2-year, $12 million deal if he goes to Cleveland. Might be a 2-year, $25 million deal if he goes to Miami. Chris, let me just say this.
Go ahead, brother.
I don't think he's going back to Cleveland. And the only reason why I don't think he's going back, I hope he does. I hope he does selfishly, because I want him to go to Cleveland so Jonathan Kuminga doesn't have somewhere he can get his money, so that way he takes the Lakers offer for $10 million a year. That's why I want him to go to Cleveland. But
Yeah.
I don't think LeBron James wants to go to Cleveland. I'm taking the man at his word when he put down the Memphis Grizzlies and said that the Memphis Grizzlies should be moved to Nashville. In that interview, on that podcast, on the golf course, he did also say, I don't give a shit about going back to Cleveland. He's like, I damn near don't even like going home. And that's one time during the season. So I don't think he wants to go back to Cleveland and play there in November through April when it's cold. I don't think he's going to Minnesota. I don't think he's going to Philly. He has to think about Philly because of all of the talent that they have.
Yeah.
But when you really, I mean, think about it this way. He has to think about it this way. Outside of like his family stuff and like all that personal stuff, if it's just strictly basketball, you're hitching your horse to the wagon of Steph Curry, James Harden, Joel Embiid, or Giannis.
Yeah.
Like, I'm picking Giannis or Steph out of those four. Like,
and if you want to throw Minnesota in there, Ant-Man.
But I don't. There's
you just don't think.
There's
I know.
no
But you
way
threw,
he's playing.
You threw
with
Philly.
Melo.
I know. I'm just saying you threw Philly in there.
I'm just telling you right now.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. It's some combination of Cleveland, Golden State, Miami. I would say that's tier one. Tier two would be Philadelphia and Minnesota, right? And then I know they've thrown Washington in there because of the AD connection. I just think AD's not going anywhere right now. Washington thinks that they're going to have a shot of competing. Now, unless AD forces a trade out, which is still possible, then that changes things. But I think you're right. I think Miami makes a lot of sense. And, all these teams have flaws in it, right? The flaw with Miami would be, do we have enough playmakers? Well, Davion Mitchell is in place already. Proved that last year he could be pretty damn good. You throw LeBron in that mix. Giannis is a capable playmaker, right? He's used to having the ball in his hands. You can go out and find yourself another guard somewhere. But at that point, what you're going to need for that team is athletic wings and shooters. That's what you're going to need, And part of that, Tim Hardaway Jr., I think, resolves some of that issue. I think they also have Simone Fontecchio, really good shooter. Then you could trade Nikola Jovic and maybe get yourself something too if you want to go that route. And then Bruce Brown is out there. So you could find a way to really put together a roster. I just wonder, Chaz, did too much happen in the past to make it seem like that time in Miami was, even though it was great for both LeBron and Riley and the entire Heat organization, did how it ended, right, in 2014 leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth, specifically Pat Riley's? I just wonder if that's still a thing.
That's what makes me think the way Pat Riley was talking. We don't have the sound because I'm unprofessional and I didn't load it up before this show. But Pat Riley was on the Dan Le Batard show, and he also was at the Giannis press conference, and they were asking about LeBron because he made the comment about we got to land the second. Nudge, nudge. Okay, so the only reason why Pat Riley would be talking as greasy as he was, but also very introspectively as well, big word, the reason why he was talking like that was because he knows something that we don't. He's landed Jimmy Butler. He's landed LeBron once. He's landed Giannis now. Pat Riley has landed some big fish. If there's anybody that can do it, it's Mickey Harrison and Pat Riley, and it's
Alonzo
Mike
Mourning
Jr. and Joe Lacob. In my opinion, I don't think for Cleveland, if he was going back to Cleveland, it would have happened by now. I can't take that from anybody else but Ramona Shelburne. I heard her say it. I think it's absolutely the truth. If he was going back to Cleveland by now, all of their moves are done. They actually got better in terms of their depth and the types of guys that they have. They're obviously going to be upgrading the role for Tyson. They got Dean Wade back. They gave him some money.
No. Dean Wade's in Philly.
I'm sorry, not Dean Wade. Max Strus.
Max Strus. Yeah, Porter.
Merrill as well.
Yeah. They got Porter.
I like the
yeah.
Cleveland roster. I just don't like James Harden. Now, James Harden isn't even officially signed. He's waiting and hasn't signed yet because
just like with Draymond in Golden State.
Exactly. So the thing about Philly, if he knew that Joel Embiid was going to play at least 60 games, he would have signed in Philly by now. But the reason, like, even though they got Jaylen Brown, like you got Edgecombe, Maxey, LeBron, JB, Embiid. What a starting five. Like, regardless of who you have on the bench, you could have whoever on the bench.
And they have a good bench.
Five,
you've got Anthony Simons and Bona, Barlow, a lot of those young guys that are pretty good. I know they lost Kelly Oubre, but that's going to be a loaded team whether LeBron signs there or not.
He's not hitching that wagon to Joel Embiid or James Harden. So Philly or LaMelo Ball. Philly, Minnesota, Cleveland, I think they're all out. It's Golden State or Miami.
Right.
And if I had to pick between the two, it's probably Miami because they got more firepower.
Mm-hmm.
They got more firepower. Like they just, unless there's some kind of trade in the works. And that's the only reason why I think, and that's what we've heard. And that's really the main thing. Like, oh, he's mulling over options. No, he's waiting for something to happen that he has nor needs to happen that is on the hush, hush, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like that is how it has gone through decades in this NBA world. So,
and I think he would prefer, I'm also wondering this as far as fit and positionality. If he goes to Miami, you have got when healthy, of course, a deep line behind you, covering up everybody, including yourself, being a 41-year-old, your defensive mistakes. You have Giannis and Bam on that back line. You know what I mean? Like that's going to, and even a guy like Davion Mitchell to kind of help you out on the perimeter is a really good defensive minded player. So I wonder if that factors into it as well, where these guys could ease the transition a little bit. And I know floor spacing is also a big thing with LeBron, but given how much of a better shooter he's become in the latter stages of his career, he could provide his own floor spacing, right? That's another element to it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all works. And the one thing, and I know Brian Windhorst has said this, if there's one guy who can fit into a situation at some point, obviously there's going to be an element of transition and growing pains and whatnot. It is LeBron, and he's not wrong on that. So given whatever situation it is, Golden State, Cleveland, Miami, and then Philly, Minnesota, whoever, there will be a time where it's like, okay, we got to figure out how he could fit in. But eventually he will find a way to make his impact felt on the floor once he gets his sea legs under him and he has that element of buy-in. So we'll see what it is. But Miami is definitely intriguing. And if they end up getting him, I still think they'll be in the top 4. I just don't know if I see them overtaking all of these other teams right away, just because we got to see how it looks on the court. And of course, Giannis's health is going to be everything. And that's something he hasn't had the last 3 years.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The main thing for LeBron, and I'll move on to his former team in just a moment, is stability. I think stability and not having to teach guys how to win. That's also Miami and Golden State. And Miami to a better degree because it's the weather, it's the firepower, it's the stability,
right? And
it's the fact that he'll be in the Eastern Conference and not in the West as well.
That's
so like that factors into it. Going to Golden State, in my opinion, if he goes to Golden State without like a major trade being made, you actually have a better shot playing with Luka in this roster than Steph in that roster, based on what based on how it's currently constructed, in my opinion. Now, if they trade Porzingis and get somebody else in there, like an AD, like a like even if they traded for somebody like Şengün, right? Like if they got
Golden State,
if Golden State somehow flipped
Porzingis
for Alperen Şengün somehow, right? Like even that would be better. I mean, it wouldn't make it better than going to Miami, but that would even move the needle for Golden State, in my opinion, in terms of firepower, for instance, right?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis is not who you can count on as your 5 through more than 65 games of
And I'm
regular
really
season
surprised they brought him
or
back. I'm really
15 games
surprised.
in the
Yeah.
playoffs. I
Yeah.
mean, they didn't have a choice. When you
Yeah.
don't, I mean, no, like honestly, if you wanted to attract LeBron James, there was no way you couldn't bring back KP and have that center spot be filled with Kevon Looney or,
Did
Daniel
Horford
Gafford
retired? Did
or
Horford retired? Oh no, he's
no,
back, right? That's what
he's
I
back.
thought. Okay. Okay. All right.
He's back. He's
Gonna
back.
play his 21st season this year. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, shouts to him. Speaking of other people who are playing seasons for a new team, Matisse Thybulle, a player that I
Yes.
would have never thought would don a Laker jersey, is now going to don a Laker jersey, and
Excellent signing.
he might be the best two-way player on the Lakers.
Definitely.
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
he could be. Quentin Grimes, if Matisse Thybulle is the best two-way player on the team, then you got signed for way more money than you should have. I need Quentin Grimes to be that guy. I need Quentin Grimes and Matisse Thybulle to be neck and neck for who the best two-way player on the Lakers is.
And I hope Zaire Williams will also hear that call as well, given his length, athleticism, youth. I hope he can continue to make some strides defensively. But go ahead.
Let me just say this. I don't think Zaire Williams has played in enough winning situations at this high level of
not
basketball.
His fault, but okay.
Not his fault, but it's just flat out experience. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like how we saw Austin Reeves in the playoffs for the first time, right? Like he was great, but then defensive possessions, he was getting cooked, right? So like you don't
series,
you don't know what you don't know. So for somebody like I'm not expecting a whole lot out of him, because JJ Redick is going to be, if he could yell at Rui about getting to his spot, right? When Rui is a good shooter and a productive player, Zaire Williams does not shoot like Rui, does not have the experience like Rui, nor is he going to like get as much trust, right? So
I'm glad you brought that up because I have a plan on that, but go ahead, keep going, make your point.
He's not a guy that I think is going to get a bunch of PT. Like in my opinion, a guy like Cameron Carr or Bronny James might play more than Zaire Williams, but I need Matisse Thybulle. This subject is more so about Thybulle than anybody else. I like the signing. I did not know that he shot the three as well as he did in the last 3 years.
Small sample size, though.
Sample size.
Careful with that.
But that coupled with Kessler behind him and the firepower of Luka and AR. And, whatever other wing that you have out there in the dunker spot is going to very much so be a good look, in my opinion. The Lakers are not going to have a hard time scoring points. They're just going to have a hard time in the half court defensively and even in transition and matching up depending on who they're playing. But I do like that they have guys that they can kind of just throw out there, from LaRavia to Thybulle to Quentin Grimes to Sexton to, you just got
Jaden Hardy,
right?
Mama Kelishvili,
Nobody's great, right? But you have a lot of depth to where the floor isn't as low as it was last year, even though the ceiling may not be as high,
right?
Because
the ceiling's not as high because you have two juggernauts in the West. Excellent points, by the way. So let you wanted to talk about Thybulle. Excellent signing. What was my criticism when we were breaking all these moves down a few weeks ago? You addressed some things, right? Walker Kessler, great. Address the center position. Kelishvili, combo, small ball 5, good. Quentin Grimes, shooter, connection with Luka, could defend a little bit. Needs an opportunity, and now we'll get one. Good. Colin Sexton, ball handling, playmaking, offense, plays like a bulldog off the bench. Good. What was the issue, Chaz? Anybody? Bueller. It was athleticism and defense on the perimeter. It started with Zaire Williams. And I said, okay, could be a little bit of a reach, but he's still young. He's still raw. And like you said, he hasn't been in any winning situations. And I think he's also had some injuries as well. So this is a guy that you take a flyer on and see what he could do, especially on a one-year deal. Like I thought last year's Jake LaRavia signing was creative, but I thought they gave a guy that was relatively unproven $12 million over 2 years, which isn't a lot of money, but still is like, you're really banking on this guy to do something, and I'm not sure if he's got all of that. And now LaRavia could be one and done with the Lakers and could be packaged off in a potential trade. Thibault, what's good about him? You're right. He is more established defensively. 2-time all-defensive player. He shot 41% in 45 games the last couple of years in Portland. Hasn't been able to stay healthy. If he is able to stay healthy and be able to be that defensive-minded guy off the bench, or even maybe able to make a spot start, this is the kind of player that Luka can be successful next to, a la Derrick Jones Jr. in 2024. That's why a guy like Thibault kind of fits it within the structure of what the Lakers are trying to build, because it's similar to the structure that the Nico Harrison and the Mavs had with Luka in 24 when they made that run to the finals. So I think that they're thinking that Thibault needs a fresh start, needs to be in a winning environment, and furthermore needs to stay healthy. And if he's able to do that, we will see this guy hopefully take his game to another level, or if nothing else, reestablish himself what he was earlier in his career with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the other point I want that you put this out too. Well, first of all, before we get to Kuminga, what did you think of the Kevon Looney signing?
I actually liked it.
Former UCLA standout.
I actually like it only because of the
3-time champ.
You need a veteran in there that's going to be able to, when things get tough, right? And they are going to get tough. By no stretch of the imagination do I think that this team is going to win 55, 60 games. Like, they are going to struggle at various points in the season.
45 to 53.
45 to 53 is your number?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think 48 is the number for me. But I think that they're going to struggle at times, and just having that kind of veteran presence is very key, and having a guy that sets screens is good, and not having as much of a drop off in the little things is very big as well. Now, he's not going to be a offensive juggernaut or even defensively a juggernaut either. You just need him to be steady and not be a negative player for Kevon Looney. But I really think that it comes down to the waves of players that the Lakers have. I think Kuminga would be a great addition.
Sure.
I think
and
he would be a building block and the icing on the cake, but I don't think talent wise, yes. But in terms of I don't know him personally, but I do know that a guy who has gone through contract dispute after contract dispute, after role dispute, after minutes dispute, his entire career might not be a good fit for this mix, because it's not because of the player or the talent, but just because of the circumstances of maturity, trying to bring this new group together and plugging in a guy that's more concerned about what he's getting and his role than the betterment of the team itself, which is why all of these guys that got signed got 3 and 4 year deals. Like Austin got a 4-year extension.
Correct.
Kessler got a 4-year deal. Even Mamu Kelishvili got a 4-year deal. Quentin Grimes got a 4-year, almost $60 million deal as well. So everybody's on the books for multiple years. That is, even Colin Sexton, not 4 years or even 3. He got 2.
He got 2 for 19. 2 for 19.
That's the exception.
So let me say this about Kuminga. First of all, I agree. It's between the ears for Jonathan Kuminga. No one's doubting his talent. I remember when Frank Vogel was raving about this kid his rookie year. It was Vogel's last season. It was that train wreck season with Westbrook and Carmelo and Bazemore and, the injuries to LeBron and AD, and the whole season was just a mess, with the exception of Malik Monk and Austin Reeves, right? We all know that this kid's got tremendous upside, right? Jonathan Kuminga fits the combo forward role that has not been filled based by the vacancy of Rui Hachimura. That's the one area that the Lakers have not filled yet. Even with Kelishvili, that is more of a bench piece, right? That is going to be your combo forward, your 4-5, let's say, power forward center combo off the bench. And he could either play alongside Kessler or he could play alongside Kevon Looney. Or, we'll see them go small with him in there. Anyway, my point being is that is not a starting caliber guy I would want on this roster. Kuminga, you're right. Everyone's right. Fits that like a glove. The problem is this dude is not willing to take a 1+1 type deal, bet on himself, keep his mouth shut for a year, tell his reps to keep their mouth shut for a year, ball out on a big stage with a great team, right? That's not in Golden State with Kerr and Draymond and Steph. Do it here in LA, and then guess what? I'll opt out next summer, and if things work out and I bet on myself and I play a lot of games and I do well on the big stage, guess what? 3 to 4 year deals are going to start coming in, man. The problem with him, it's, I want two for 40. Based on what accomplishment? You're all team NBA pain in the ass. That's what you've accomplished in this league, bro. You're great at being a pain in the ass. You're great at that. But can you be great on this big stage without any other controversy out there? That's what everyone really wants to see. So you're betting that Cleveland is going to take you, but like you were saying earlier, Chaz, about Tyson and Merrill and some of these other guys that they have, there's no guarantees that they're going to throw 2 for 40 at you. No guarantees of that, whether LeBron is there or not. So, which leads me to my next question for you. If Kuminga falls through, signs somewhere else, or Pelinka says, I'm not going to wait around, what direction do the Lakers go to get someone who could fill the void left behind by Rui Hachimura in that combo forward role? Free agent or trade?
You said who can they get to fill that role?
Yes, because right now that role is not really filled well. Who would you like to go after? Because you saw the picks.
Oh God.
You still have the picks.
Oh my God.
Rando's contract, Laravia's contract. You still got some things you can move around here. I have a name for you.
I know you want Jeremy Grant. No.
Chris. Hold on. Yes, but I'm willing to go a different direction. You want to hear mine first, or do you have a name?
I don't know, probably Bruce Brown or Brandon Ingram.
Okay, those don't. Okay, first of all, Bruce Brown's a guard, and Brandon Ingram may or may not get traded to the Clippers. So, okay, I'm going to tell you my name. Dallas Mavericks have made a flurry of moves.
PJ Washington.
Yes, thank you. PJ Washington gives you everything you potentially have lost with Rui Hachimura, and he has also won with Luka Doncic. So Luka would sign off on PJ, right? Combo forward, not great at any one thing, but good at a lot of different things. He's capable of putting up 20+ points on any given night, provide floor spacing, good complementary piece to both Kessler and Luka and AR. Decent rebounder, decent defender that could guard the big forwards that the Lakers are going to probably have to deal with at some point, right? The Chet Holmgrens and the Jalen Williams, the Kawhi Leonards, Jaden McDaniels, Aaron Gordon, et cetera, and so forth. Kevin Durant as well. So you bring in a guy like that, and he's on a contract. The extension that he signed under Nico Harrison kicks in this year, 4 years and just under $89 million, which is not horrible. So there's two problems with this. One, his injury history the last 2 years has not been good. Missed 26 games last year, 25 games the year before that. His three-point shooting splits are, I want to say, on the low to mid-30 sides. So it's not horrible, but it's not great. And then is Masai going to be able to make this move without gouging the Lakers for that first-round pick swap? That's going to be the big question. Outside of that, from a position standpoint, a talent standpoint, this guy checks a lot of boxes that the Lakers still need on this roster, particularly from that 4 spot. Or I should say stretch 4 spot. Your thoughts, sir, and would you care to provide any alternatives if they can't land Kuminga? You got to like that breakdown, bro.
No, I I mean, breakdown is great or not, but I'm just saying, like, regardless of, yes, I would love for them to get PJ Tucker, but I
PJ
don't
Washington.
think that the Lakers, PJ Washington, I'm sorry, I don't think that they're going to get somebody because of how expensive his contract is. Like,
Right.
it's all about the numbers, and regardless of the talent, the numbers have to make sense. So, in my opinion, I think they already kicked the tires on a trade for Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington if they could, but
Mhm.
they couldn't. They couldn't swing it. I think the Dallas Mavericks wanted to hold on to those guys and weren't willing to part ways, and especially give them to the Lakers, especially on pennies on the dollar because the Lakers didn't have a bunch of assets, especially when they gave away 2 unprotected firsts and 2 swaps just for Kessler on top of 130 million.
I know.
So the Lakers weren't, I never expected them to get a player like players like that. Kuminga is actually the perfect guy because of his contract situation, him being restricted,
We
the
could be
Atlanta
short
Hawks
term.
not being
Yeah.
the Atlanta Hawks not being interested in the number that he was at,
Right.
as well as the Lakers being able to come in and say, hey, you could play for the Lakers. Look at what Malik Monk did. Look at what Rui did. Look at what,
Reeves.
all these other guys did. Reeves did.
Yeah.
You could do the same thing, but he's not, like you said, it's about up here. And he's not about that life, that mindset. He's trying to secure what he can secure now. I can't blame him. But
Yeah,
at the
no,
same
neither can
time,
I.
that's why his ceiling is what it is, in my opinion, as well. So there's that.
But we still don't know who you are yet. We've seen glimpses. We know what it could be, but we haven't seen it all the way through, Chaz.
I
And
mean,
people can
I think we know who Kuminga is if you allow him to play 35 minutes a night. I think.
okay.
I think he
But
I
we
think
still
it
have to
easy.
see that process through, brother.
Yeah, but I mean, it just depends on what coach, not organization, what coach is willing to give him that kind of free reign to play 35 minutes a game, to and with the offensive space and system to be able to do and create the way that he would like. I just don't know if Cleveland is that place for him. Honestly,
We
that's
will
rumored to
see.
where he'll end up if LeBron doesn't go there, but
Bro, they
I don't
ran
know.
out DeAndre Hunter, who's also very talented, right? I mean, they ran out DeAndre Hunter pretty fast in Cleveland. So, which leads me to think they actually believe in that kid Tyson, and especially now with Dean Wade gone, are they going to promote Tyson, or do they feel like if we miss out on LeBron, we know we've got a deal in the bag for Kuminga? Like that's really the thing. And is Kuminga going to be really? I guess you can make the same argument with the Lakers. Is Kuminga really going to be the best fit next to guys like Harden and Mitchell? Also with Evan Mobley there as well. Whereas over here, yeah, you got AR and you've got Luka, but you could slide in as that third like wing scorer where I think there's more room for you. There's a little bit more reign to operate there in that combo forward role. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think you'd
Yeah.
have to fight that spot for Grimes as much. Whereas I think you're battling more with Jared Allen and Evan. Like I don't know. On paper, it may fit. I just don't know how it'll be on the court. And I wonder how long before he becomes disgruntled because he's not getting enough touches. You know what I'm saying? In
Uh,
Cleveland.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, just really quick, do you think that LeBron James could wait all the way until August 6th?
Why not?
Because that's the first day that AD can sign a new extension.
Mm-hmm. It could be. It could. I mean, I like I said, I'm
Something to
really
think about.
I'm perplexed with this whole situation, man.
Are you?
And to be quite honest, I don't even think he knows what he wants to do.
Oh,
You
I think he
know,
does. I think he does.
okay, maybe
I
he
think
does now.
I think he absolutely would love to go to Golden State if they can pull off a trade. That's his number one best option. I want to play with Steph. I want to be on the West Coast. I want to stay close to home. I want to have a chance for an actual ring.
Yeah,
It's it makes all the sense in the world. It's the reason why Draymond opted out. It's the reason why Steve Kerr came back and got his extension. He's not coming back to coach the same roster. This has been in the talks for like this stuff doesn't just happen June 15th, right? No, this has been talked about at the All-Star break, right?
Sure.
Like this is just how it goes in the league. So I do think he could go to Miami, but I don't think he's going to Cleveland because Cleveland's like, if it would have happened by now, the only thing about Cleveland that makes me think that it's very possible is that James Harden still hasn't signed.
Yeah.
And Draymond still hasn't signed. So because those two guys are sitting there waiting for him, that makes me think that those two options are very, very live.
Definitely.
Like I said, I just think that
I agree.
The man at his word. He doesn't want to go back to the cold.
I agree. I think both teams are feeling that they're going to see this process through, and then we could make the corresponding moves if it doesn't work out in our favor. Cleveland went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They still believe that this roster could be very good. Golden State, and they're looking at another play-in situation. To me,
yeah,
if they lose out on LeBron, so
yeah, exactly. Well, let's close it out, Chris. On this note, the weak ass Clippers. This has become the Kawhi investigation, not the Clippers investigation anymore, because the Clippers are almost no longer the team that represents Kawhi. That team is now purportedly to be the Toronto Raptors. Yeah. So I do think that
Grady Dick and the picks.
Exactly. So, Chris, what do you make of the Kawhi investigation? Adam Silver is preaching patience, saying, this investigation is this and that, and they're finding new things in the investigation. I think it's taking way too long. Like Pablo Torre has done all of the groundwork for these investigators. Right. All they got to do is just follow the trail. He's already, I know they want to do their own investigation, but all you got to do is do your own shit and cross-reference it with his shit, and you'll get the same shit. That's my opinion. But what do you make of the investigation? And do you think it'll be done before training camp? And like, how does it happen where a trade goes down reportedly, but it can't be called into the league office because they're still investigating this shit?
Well, yeah. And I think that's also a situation where I don't think the league wants to see a team like Toronto get screwed over, where it's like you made this deal for this guy and now he's gone, and now you lost the assets too, the picks, Grady Dick and Brandon Ingram and everything like that. So, I think that's really what it is, where it's like, I don't know if they've told him to halt the trade or offered them the option to halt the trade based on the investigation. The way Ramona was breaking it down, that's kind of Ramona Shelburne, she was on ESPN LA this week. That's kind of what she was, I think it was on Monday. She was kind of breaking it down in that direction. This whole situation's been strange from Jump Street. And leave it to the Clippers once again, 12 years later, to be at the epicenter of major controversy and an unprecedented situation. Before it was a racist owner caught on tape and what you do to punish that man. And now it's a star player and an owner circumventing the salary cap and players representation too, and Uncle Dennis Robertson. I really don't know how this is going to how this is all going to shake out. The one thing that makes sense is one of two things, if not both at the same time. Yeah, the Clippers may get punished out of this, but if Kawhi gets punished, I'm thinking a year suspension, forfeit of the contract. That to me looks like could happen on this. But once again, like you were saying, it's going to be based on their findings, how much he knew and how much he orchestrated this based on him and his people's end. That's the thing. And I'm not so sure how the punishment is going to shake out if they do and find him guilty of this aspiration nonsense.
Who's more? Let's say it's exactly what we think it is. Who's more guilty, Kawhi or the Clippers?
It should be the Clippers because this was also one of their sponsors, right?
Correct. I don't think I think what you said, like a year suspension and voiding of the contract, it's too much. Like,
Yeah, okay, so
you got to punish. Yes, if you want to suspend him 20, 30 games or whatever the case may be,
but there's no
like,
precedent for something like this. That's what I'm saying. And
right.
how seriously is Adam Silver going to take this? That's all I'm saying, Chaz. I agree. I when I've been hearing that or reading that on social media, I'm like, this seems a little harsh, you know. And then what are you going to do with the Clippers? We're going to fine them $10 million, which is, you know, chump change, obviously, to Steve Ballmer. You know, are they going to forfeit picks now? Like, how does that whole situation work? You know, as far as punishment, and then what happens to the trade with Toronto? That's the other big question. Because the Clippers, the one good thing about trading Kawhi now is that his stock was never going to be higher. So you have a chance to get a young asset in Grady Dick, a pretty good asset, and a potential contract that you could flip again in Brandon Ingram, and you get draft picks, which was something that they were depleted of from the Paul George trade of 2019, which helped them land Kawhi in the first place. And what they've done these last few years in trading Harden and trading Zubac and, you know, trading some of these other players and now trading Kawhi is recoup some of those lost picks, right? And restock the well a little bit, which allowed them to get Keaton Wagler too with the 5th overall pick in this draft, which, you know, they were able to get from Indiana in the Zubac trade. So I don't know what the final result is going to be. Do they both get punished? Does only one get punished? How does this whole thing work? Because once again, Chaz, it's unprecedented, right? The same thing with the Astros situation. Unprecedented.
Yeah, I get it. Well, fuck the Clippers.
What do you think happens?
I really don't. I really don't. I really don't care. I don't care. But what do I think happens? I think this gets drawn out all the way until the season starts. I think that Kawhi misses less than 20 games, and I think that the Clippers forfeit maybe some second-round picks at worst. More than anything, it's just money. They just get fined $2 million or $5 million or whatever the number is. It's a drop in the bucket for Ballmer, and that's it. They just end up paying for it to go away. It's just a fine. Kawhi misses a few games, and that's it. No void of the contract, nothing, because, you know, that's it. That's what I think honestly happens. The final result in terms of punishment actually encourages salary cap circumvention instead of deterring it, in my opinion. Like, it's going to make an owner say, if I do get caught and the only punishment is public shame.
Yeah.
If the only punishment is public shame from Pablo Torre and a few second round picks or a few million in order to get a top 5 player at the time, then wouldn't you do it? Like, of
course. Which is why I wonder how seriously the league is going to take it, Chaz, because now you have to set a precedent. Whereas if anything like this happens again, we need to kind of put our foot down on these owners and these star players that this shit will not be tolerated. But how seriously do they take it? And I think that's going to be based on the findings, whose role this was, and then kind of go from there. So I don't know. I really don't know what the final result is going to be. It'll be interesting to see over the next several weeks, month, whatever. 2 months. I mean, hell, we're still in the middle of July over here, man. I mean, latter part of July now, you know, so the training camp won't start until the end of September. So you're right. This could get drawn out. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the whole thing's been confusing and just kind of an eye roll to me. And if this goes down like this, man, do the Clippers have egg on their face. All the stuff they gave up, all the stuff that they tried to do, and all they had to show for it was 3 playoff series wins in 7 years with this guy. No finals appearances, 1 conference finals appearance, no championships. That's sad. And they haven't won a playoff series in 5 years. Going on 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that'll about do it for this edition of The Outlet Forum. Appreciate you guys tapping in with us. We will be back with you guys next week. Hopefully LeBron James has made a decision by then, because then we can actually talk potential schedule as well as matchups and things of that nature, because he is really the final big domino to fall. All the other smaller dominoes like Kuminga and Jalen Duren, who still is without a contract but really doesn't have any leverage because the only other team that he was going to go to signed their big guy in Walker Kessler. The smaller dominoes will fall, but hopefully maybe if LeBron James doesn't sign by the 29th, the 29th
from today,
I think that would be preposterous. So I think we'll find out by then. Chris, final call. What team does he go to?
I think it's Miami.
For some reason, dog, I feel like he's gonna go. I want him to go to Miami or Cleveland, but I feel like he's going to Golden State.
Yeah, you could be right, Chaz. You could be right, my friend.
Like I want. It makes all the sense in the world to go to Miami or Cleveland.
Yeah,
or even Philly.
Yeah,
but I don't think so. But something in my gut, in here, Chris, like in the base of my being, I just feel like he's going to go to Golden State. So that's not a prediction. That's me just telling you how I feel. So we'll see, hopefully by next week. Appreciate you guys tapping it. Chris, where can they follow you, my man?
Well, they can always follow me on X at Chris_Camelo, Instagram at CCamelo1, at the Outlet Forum on X, on IG, and on YouTube. 2 more things I wanted to say. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be on the Incline Dodgers with Kevin Klein and Jake Reiner. If you want to hear me yakety yak about the Dodgers and the Blue Crew and the series they just had in Philadelphia and New York before that, tune in. Chaz, 2 more RIPs from our 90s childhood movies. Just passed away. Sam Neill, the great Sam Neill from Jurassic Park, as well as Event Horizon, passes away at the age of 74 after a long battle with cancer. And Brenda Fricker from The Pigeon Lady from Home Alone 2 and the foster mom Maggie from Angels in the Outfield passed away at 81. So they were both really good actors, great roles in their respective movies and everything. Brenda Fricker also presented Joe Pesci. I'll never forget this, in 1990 with the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor from Goodfellas. And the Oscar goes to Joe Pesci, Goodfellas.
Joe Pesci.
And then Sam Neill, dinosaurs and man. 2 species separated by 20 million years. The world is just moving so darn fast. How could we possibly know the slightest thing about what's to come?
Is that fucking Jurassic Park?
Yes, it was. So RIP to Sam Neill. RIP to Brenda Fricker. Chaz, come on.
Good night. Good night to all, and to all a good night. We will see you next week. Thanks for tapping in. Peace.